Do you have a memory of something from your childhood that never existed, but you swear you had it or knew someone that did? Let's talk about that. Welcome back to the Junk Room, everybody. It's me, the Junkman, coming back at you to remind you, JunkmanMerch.com. Got some very cool shirts over there. Still time to get you 2 Christmas shirts. Look at that. Christmas shirts. What a way to go. You're going to have to get those. But we got a lot of other shirts, mugs, hoodies, phone cases, and a lot more over there. And you think, I don't want to buy YouTuber stuff. But, hey, it's not shirts with my face on it. That would be pretty embarrassing. Just check it out. I'm sure you'll find some shirts over there you'll love. But today I just kind of want to ramble on about having memories and just not true. Now, being a toy collector, especially in the 90s, I heard from a lot of people that said, my cousin had a Boba Fett with the rocket launcher off, or even some said they had it, their brother had it, they played with it. One kid told me once that he remembered getting shot in the ear and it got stuck and his dad had to get some pliers to get it out with. He swore this happened, but as we all know, that figure never did get released. Unless maybe his dad was a toy designer at Kenner and he had a prototype he sent home and shot it down his son's ear. Now, maybe I could see that. But there's a lot of stories out there. People remember having this thing and they never did. And I come across a lot of this in the toy community. Toys people say they had that never got released. And it got me to thinking about a toy line that I really remembered, and in the 90s when I got back into collecting action figures, I looked for it. Now, back then, it did have the internet, but it wasn't like it is today. So I would go to the news groups and ask about it, and nobody would ever know what I was talking about. Go on message boards, still nothing. Look through the toy magazines, hoping to find pictures of it. Nothing. Price guides, nothing. Toy shop, where you could buy almost anything. Nope, didn't have it. Sure, you could get a blue Snaggletooth Long on there for $300, but nope, you couldn't find this action figure line. So what action figure line was it? T.J. Hooker. Now, growing up in the 80s, I was a big fan of T.J. Hooker. I remember watching T.J. Hooker with my grandma. I think it must have came on Friday or Saturday night, and she liked it, I liked it. My grandpa, he watched it because we watched it. It was a lot of fun. A lot of people grew up with Captain Kirk, William Shatner's Captain Kirk, but to me, William Shatner, first and foremost, is T.J. Hooker. What a great show. I don't know if it holds up today. I'm almost scared to watch it in case it doesn't. Heather Locklear. She was hot as Asians Miz. So, I can remember, I had this burned in my memory of a kid that I went to school with. I think his name was Justin. I'm not really sure that's his name, so I don't remember. I remember a lot of people's names, but his, I think, was Justin. And he had an action figure line of T.J. Hooker. Now, this wasn't just some generic cop toy line. I can remember he had Kirk. I can remember he had T.J. Hooker. I can remember he had his partner, Asian Zamez, whatever his name was on the show. I can remember I had the Locklear figure. I don't remember if there was an old man. I remember he had a police car and a police motorcycle and a police helicopter that all said T.J. Hooker on it. Now, I know he's saying Junkman. Gaslight, or is it Gaslight, did release some really generic-looking G.I. Joe figures back in the late 80s, but that was released in Brazil, and I really doubt this kid ever went to Brazil. Sure, he looked like the type of kid that would go on vacation to Brazil, but I really doubt he went to Brazil. And besides, that was, I think, more mid-80s, and this was really when the show was really starting to kick off. But it's odd that I can remember. I can see it in my head, these figures. Now, it's true, it's probably my memory playing tricks on me. I probably was really loving T.J. Hooker, and he probably had some generic police figures, and in my mind, maybe I went to his house and we played T.J. Hooker with him. We act like they were T.J. Hooker toys when they wasn't. And that's probably what happened. But I swear, in my mind, I can see those figures. I can see where they look just like the characters from the television show. And if I was a betting man, and sometimes I am, and someone was going to bet me and I didn't know about, let's say this was 1990 before I got back into action figure collecting, and they say, you want to put a bet they made T.J. Hooker figures? I would have said, yeah, put all the money on they made them, because I know a friend that had them. And I can remember going to the stores, mostly Zayre's, but Kmart, and trying to find them. Where did he get these figures? Now, of course, I saw some generic cop figures, but I never did see anything that even looked like the ones he had. And it got me to thinking, maybe this kid He's from a parallel universe. Maybe he had a portal in his closet where he could travel to another dimension, another universe. And maybe in his world, or that world that he had access to, sold T.J. Hooker figures. Sorry, I almost said G.I. Joe. I don't know why. If that's true, I would love to go into the portal in his closet. Maybe then I could buy some Blake 7 action figures. Why didn't we get Blake 7 action figures? I can understand why the U.S. didn't get them, but they didn't even get them in the U.K.? Come on, U.K. You don't always have to copy what they're doing in the U.S. But anyway, let's get back to this T.J. Hooker. So I can remember going to Sears, going to Zayres, going to Kmart, going places, looking for this, telling people, hey, I'm looking for that. I remember writing it down on a Christmas list saying, I want T.J. Hooker toys for Christmas. And, of course, I didn't ever get them. And in the 90s, when I started collecting, it was one of the first things I started looking for. As I mentioned going through the catalogs and stuff, and I go to toy shows, and they were like, what you looking for? And I say, hey, you got any T.J. Hooker toys? And they're like, they didn't make T.J. Hooker toys. Get out here, junk collector. And I said, yes, they did. My friend had them. No, he didn't. And no, my friend didn't have a dad that worked at a toy company that has some unproduced figures. No, I don't even say that in the comments, but it's weird. I would go to toy shows and ask. I would go to comic book stores and ask them if they had toys and ask if they knew about G.I. Joe. Post online. I even wrote a letter to Toy Marts to ask them about it, and they didn't reply back. Knowing me, I actually wrote it with my hand instead of, a computer and printing it out, so they probably couldn't read it. I don't spell real well. I got an awful handwriting that makes a doctor look like, I don't know, whatever a good handwriting looks like. That's what it looks like. I can't even read my own handwriting sometimes. I take notes or something. I was like, it's hard. Trust me. You think I'm bad at speaking or spelling? Wait till you see my handwriting. It is out there on a whole nother level. But it's just odd to me how I can remember this and how other people can remember, like I said, like a firing Boba Fett with a rocket on the back, or that they had this and that, and when I know it didn't get released. I see it a lot with prototypes. Hey, I remember that, but didn't have it. And I thought I'd put this video out there and let you guys tell me some things in the comments section. It might be a fun video to go through those comments later and read them and see what you guys remember. And please, maybe someone out there can say, hey, I remember T.J. Hooker figures. I can remember having them also. You're not mistaken. And maybe, like I said, there's some kind of two universes collide. It crossed over. The Mandela effect, I think they call it. Ooh, spooky. Getting goosebumps just talking about it. Well, someone's trying to call me while I'm making a video. Can't have that. Probably telling me to go vote. I don't want to hear about who you want me to vote for. You leave me alone and I'll vote for you. Well, anyway, I want to thank you for watching. Let me know in the comments below if you had anything like this. If you have something burning in your memory you swear they made, but they didn't, let me know. Or maybe I talked to a guy that one time swears by a TV show. He could tell me about the whole first season of a television show that didn't even make. Nothing about it. He could tell me the whole plot line. Anyway, I want to thank you for watching. Thumbs up, like my content. Subscribe to the channel. Talk again soon.
Hey, Junkman channel popping though.
Thank you, sir, for that unsolicited testimony.